Hey, and welcome to the Reimagine series, where I'm going to be showing you how to recreate some of the most popular websites and web designs using iGloo. And for this first video, I'm going to break down the Prezi website. And Prezi, if you haven't heard of it before, is a presentation software which enables you to create engaging web-based presentations. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of show you this website, and you can see it's a really clean design. They've got quite light colors throughout, and it just looks really professional and quite corporate as well. So what I'm going to do is show you how I created basically the same kind of version within iGloo. And I've made some adjustments and kind of retweaked things and made them a little bit different so that you can see how to use most of the features within iGloo. But if I just go through and preview this over here, this is the one that I created with iGloo. You can see I've got a nice kind of header navigation with a button and login navigation. I've also added in these two column boxes, which are similar to the Prezi ones over here. But with this one, I've actually added on a nice kind of hover effect. So when you hover your mouse on them, they kind of move about, and this is great for different types of plans. So if you've got different types of plans for your products or your services, maybe for just individuals or for businesses, you can have these kind of column blocks which look really good. I've also got a background video playing in the background of this section. You can see I've got some nice kind of column blocks over here, and I'll show you how to create all of these. They look really, really good. Also for this one, on Prezi, they don't actually have a video like this where you can actually click on it and have a pop-up of your video playing. But I wanted to show you how you can create something like that within iGloo, and so I added that onto the page as well. And then we've got some nice text over here, as well as a nice kind of footer navigation down at the bottom. Now we don't actually have 75 million iGloo users, which would be nice, but I kind of copied the Prezi kind of format, as I've got 75 million people using their software. Okay. Cool. So what I'm going to do is actually go into the page that I created and kind of break down how I created them, and I'll show you some different methods so that I can go through and show you how I created each of these kind of elements and sections and rows and columns. Okay, cool. So the first thing I did for this one is I created a 4-column layout with a section. So that what I would do is go to my if I go to a blank page over here. First you need to create a row within your section. So this is a section, the blue one. If I click on add new row, I can create rows within my section. And for this one over here, if I just drag this over so you can see it a bit better, it's actually got a 4-column layout. So there's 4 columns where I can put content in there. So I can select the 4-column layout here, and you can see right now that I've got 4 different kind of columns where I can drag and drop elements onto, okay? Cool. Now one thing you note right now is that this row isn't actually going across the full width of the screen. You can see this one right now, it goes across the full width of the screen so that I can spread out my content completely across the full width of the screen. So what I can do is actually make it a full width row. So I can left click on it, and click on style. And then over on these options over here, I can select full width. And what it's going to do is, you can see it just basically spreads out your row across the full width of the screen. Okay, so the next thing I did is I added on an image, so my logo, I added on a navigation menu, as well as a button over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that by clicking on the image button, dragging and dropping that there, selecting my image, and then I can click on that image, click on style, basically adjust the size of it by just dragging this width up like this, and also make it to the line to the right so that it's close to the navigation menu that I add on here, okay? Cool. So there's my logo. Now what I'm going to do is add my navigation menu. So clicking on this, I'll just drag and drop this up here. And yeah, what you can see is our navigation menu. So what I'm going to do is select features, about us, and demo. So I'll just type that in there. So let's say features, about us, and demo. Okay. Now I'm going to click on this and go to my settings for this. And what I want to do is actually select a different preset. So right underneath the padding size, you'll be able to see we've got presets. And this basically shows you the style of the navigation, and we've got different types of presets. So for the first one, if they hover their mouse on here, it will add a background color. So you can see if I go to my backgrounds over here, I can even adjust this color of the background if I wanted to, for when someone hovers that, and when they don't hover it, when it's just normal, it will be this color. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go select preset 3. And basically preset 3 is just when they hover their mouse on the actual text, it will basically just change the color to this color here, okay? And what I want to do is select a blue color, so I'm just going to my color palette, and I'm just going to paste that color in there, and this is going to be the color when they hover their mouse on it. It's going to be that color there. When it's not hovered, it's just going to be like something like this. Maybe we get something like that. Looks quite good. And I want to also adjust the text font of my navigation, something like that. Maybe make it a little bit lighter, something like that. Looks quite good. And I'm quite happy with how that looks. Okay, now what I'm going to do is duplicate that by clicking on this duplicate button, drag and drop this over here, and I'm just going to delete some of these ones and just type in login. So if you are selling, log into like a members area or an application, you can have a login button like that. And one quick thing as well, if you want to adjust the the link or the URL, you click on the navigation and then go to the tool icon, and then you can select different types of actions. So we can open a URL, so we could say, for example, launchigloo.com, which is a login page to iGloo, and you can select whether you want it to open in the same window or a new window. So maybe I'll select new window for this one here and click on save. And the last thing I want to do is add in a button. So I'm going to drag and drop this button over here. I'm going to click on the style options, go to my presets, and you can see we've got different types of presets here. I'm going to select this one over here, and I'm going to say this, what did I say over here, get started. So I'm going to select that and click on get started, like that. Then I'm going to go and make it more aligned to the left by clicking on other settings and select align to the left, so it's close to this navigation. And I can adjust the text style, so maybe make it something like 14. And I'm going to change the text font to Montserrat, so it's the same as the navigation. And the last thing I want to do is adjust the padding as well as the color. So I'm going to again copy that color, go to my settings, go to my background settings, and just simply paste it in like that, and then adjust the padding of the button. So maybe make it a little bit smaller like that. And that was quite good so far. Maybe something like that looks really good. Maybe make it like 28. So you're just gonna kind of touch it up and make it high. Whatever you think looks good. Okay, cool. So now I've created that navigation section over here. You can see that this one over here that I've created already is not that high and looks quite good because it's kind of similar to the Prezi kind of navigation. So what we need to do is adjust the padding of this section by clicking on this section, the blue one, click on style, and then you simply adjust this padding up here. Maybe make it something like 4 or so. And we can also adjust the padding of the row as well. So we can go to padding and maybe make this something like 6, like that. Or you can make it even smaller if you like, but that looks quite good as it is like that. Cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is click on the blue section button, and I'm going to create this video background as well as these kind of nice kind of column boxes and that text like so. So to do this, what I'm going to do is first create just a 1-column row where I can add my text, and I'll grab my headline and I'll go to my page, just copy that text here, double click on that, and then just paste that text in like so. Click on the style options, and I'm going to select roboto for the text. I'm going to make it 100 so it's quite light and thin, and then I'm going to make the text size something like 90, and I'll make it white as well. First of all, I'll just change up the background color so you can actually see the text. So as you can see right now on this one over here, we've got a white text, and then we've got a video playing in the background with like kind of a dark overlay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab that video, and I'm going to paste it over here into my page settings. So to add a video background, you go to your page settings by clicking on the settings button over here, go to your background, and select YouTube video or HTML5 video, whatever kind of video host you want to use. I'm going to paste my YouTube video in there, and you can see now I've got my YouTube video on the background of this page. But one thing you'll note is that you can't actually see the video on this section. So what we need to do is actually make it a little bit transparent, and what I also want to do is change the background color. So I'm going to make it something like that or so. And then what I want to do is for the transparency bars, just drag this out slightly to the left so that it kind of makes it more transparent so you can see the background underneath the video background. That's quite good. I'm going to make this text white now. I'm going to make it align to the left. And one other thing I want to do is make this row a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go to my box small like that. And you can see it kind of makes the text inside that box a little bit smaller and more central, and looks quite good like that. What I could also do is adjust the line spacing of the text, just drag it down like that to make it a little bit more space between the lines like that. Cool. So now I've created this header navigation, I've created my video background kind of section block. And I also want to create these two kind of column blocks where you can have like two different types of plans. So maybe if you're selling a software or a product for different types of people, you can have for individuals and also for businesses. You get two different blocks like that, okay? So to create that, what we could do is create a new row with a 2-column layout. And I also want to make this row just a boxed small one, so it's quite small in width, okay? And the next thing I want to do, you can either add an image if you've got an icon that you like, or you can go to the icons and just simply drag and drop this down here and select an icon. Maybe I could select something like this guy over here. I can make him a little bit smaller, and maybe something like, let's have a look, something like that maybe. And this is a little bit more tricky, but what we're going to do is we want to add in a background to this element. So what I could do, once I've got my elements selected, I can go to my container settings over here, go to background, and then select white, okay? And that adds a background to that column, okay? And I also want to add like a nice kind of border, a blue border like that on the top. So to do that, I'd go to my element. Again, I've got my container settings, my background, I'll go to my border, and I'm going to unlock this and then select something like 8. And then I can go through and I'm just going to copy that color code, go back to my element, and just paste that color like that. Maybe I can select something like 6 instead, make it a little bit thinner, and that's looking really, really good, okay? I also want to adjust my padding so that I've got more space between that icon and the top of that. So just adjust that, maybe something like 26. And then what I want to do is add in some text here. I'm just going to copy that text. Whoops, if I go back up here, double click on that and copy that. And yeah, I want to have a button underneath there. So what I'm going to do now is go and grab the headline, just drag it there. I can bring it down like this and just paste that in like so. Then go to my settings, make it smaller, like something like that. And I want to have the same kind of color as that, so I might go ahead and copy this color, okay, like there, and then go over to my text and paste that color in there. And again, when you go to my container settings, go to background and then select the color, so I want white, and maybe we'll add some padding at the top of that a little bit, and also the bottom a little bit. And the last thing I want to do is add a button, okay, so I'm going to add a button down here, just drag it to the bottom. I'm going to select this type of preset, and then what I want to do is select joined reimagined. So let's type in joined reimagined. Whoops, reimagined. Great. Okay, cool. So I'm going to select my style options, and again for this I'm going to my padding, go to my background and select white like that. Okay, and I also want to select that blue color over here, so I'm going to go back over here and make this border. Whoops, let's go to my style options and go to my border and make that the same color. And also my text style, I'm going to make this blue as well, and maybe we can select something like Roboto as well. And that's looking quite good. Maybe I'll make the text a little bit smaller, maybe something like 18. And also I want to make it a little bit wider, thicker, sorry, like that, something like 400. And then what I can do is go to my padding for my button and just make it a little bit less high and a little bit less wide like that. And the last thing I want to do is add some more padding to the bottom so that it kind of stretches out a little bit wider like that. And as you can see, it looks really good right now, okay? So what we can do now is just simply click on this, go to the style options, and you can see on this page over here, when you hover your mouse on it, it basically goes up like that. Okay, so it's a nice kind of cool effect. So this is quite easy to do. What you do is select the style options for any one of these elements, and then over here you can see it's the elements selected. We then need to click on the column option and then go to the animations and then select mouse hover animation, and we can select something like, for example, Bob. Looks like that. And if I select save right now, it's going to basically add that animation onto the entire box over here. So if I preview this, you can see right now if I hover my mouse like that, it's got a nice kind of hover effect like that, okay? Cool. So what I want to do now is duplicate that. So I'm going to click on this button, click on duplicate, drag this over here. I'm going to duplicate this as well. Drag it over like that. And then again duplicate this one and drag it over like that. Okay? And I want to double click on this and change that to something different. Maybe I could have presentation. Let's have a look. Or let's say webinar Oh, I need to try and find that nice kind of one. Where is this one? Let's bring this across. I want to have that same one where the guy's presenting on that kind of presentation board, like this one here. So I'll grab that there. That's quite good, and I can say for businesses. For businesses and teams. Okay, cool. So that's looking good. You can see one thing that we have a little problem with is that there's no space in between these two columns, okay? And one of the things I also want to do is change that kind of border on the top of this. So I'm going to go to my background again and then go to my border and make this kind of a dark color, something like that. Looks quite nice. And now what we need to do is, create a gap between these two columns. So what I can do is select any element and then go to my column settings and then go to padding. And then what I want to do is add some padding on this right side. So I've got my right arrow selected. I'm going to type in something like 5 or maybe something like 10 maybe. 10 looks good. And then I'm going to go to this one over here and I want to add some padding on the right hand side to my column. So I go to my columns, go to my padding, and then for the right arrow from the left to the right, I'm going to type in 10 like that. Maybe 10 is a little bit too much. So actually what I'm going to do is add it onto this side. Let's say 10 from this side, okay? And that's quite good right now. I might also add some 10 padding onto that side as well. So let's go to my padding for my column and add 10 on there like so. Okay, cool, so that's looking quite good. Maybe I could even split that padding up from 5 to 5. So if I go to my columns, go to my padding and put on 5 here. And then for this one, put 5 in the middle as well. Now it looks a little bit difficult, but as you start using it and practicing this kind of technique, it's quite easy to do. So there you can see we've got a really nice looking column blocks, okay? Cool, so next thing I want to do is add a new section and have some text like this, and I want to add in a text color like this kind of color. So I'm just going to find that text color over here. I'll just copy that text color, and we can have a different text color for some things where we want to kind of highlight that. So what I will do now is add a new section, go to one column, add a headline down here, and we can go through and copy this text here as well, just to speed things up a little bit. So just copy and paste, and also copy this text here as well, and I'll just duplicate that text down there and paste it like that. Okay, cool. So I'm going to adjust this text color. I think I've even copied this text color. Maybe it's this one here. I'm just going to select this text, paste that text. Yeah, looks good. And I also want to make the text Montserrat, so it's got a nice kind of style for it as well. And then what I want to do is highlight this text, and then you'll be able to see right now under the colors option, I can go through and select a different color like that. So I can highlight different things and it looks quite good. So I'm going to do that as well for this one. Go to my colors, and also for this one, go to my colors. And for this text here, I want to make it really big, bigger than the actual normal text. So what I can do is highlight that, and for the font size, I can go through and select something like 36. And I can also do it for this one here as well. Go to font size 36. And that's really cool. It kind of like illustrates, highlights different types of points that you've got. Maybe make it a little bit bigger as well. And bring up the padding. And that looks really cool, okay? So if I go back over here, you can see I've created that text. I also want to create a button over here, and I'll just copy that text as well. And I want to have 2 different types of text on this button like so. So to do that, what we can do is create a new row maybe for this one, select one column layout, and then go to button, drag and drop that down here. I'm going to select just a simple, flat kind of style button. I'm going to adjust the color of the button, go to my background, maybe something like that. It's quite nice. And I'm going to paste in that text that I copied. And what I also want to do is go to a new line. So I'm just going to hit enter and type in this text over here. So let's click here to see our mobile options. So just paste it down like that. And what I want to do with this text is highlight it, and I want to make it smaller than the actual text font. So it's currently at 20, so maybe I can make something like 16 or even like 14 for example, like that. And I can also adjust the color, so maybe I'll make it something like a red. Looks quite nice, maybe a darker red. Let's have a look at that one. Okay, looks quite good. And I can adjust these settings options as well, so maybe I'll make the text style Montserrat, and I'll make it a little bit bolder, a little bit bigger, I guess, something like that. And I also want to adjust the padding of this button, so I'll make it a little bit wider and a little bit less higher like that. And also make the line spacing a little bit more so you can see that there's spacing between each of the lines. Maybe something like that looks quite good. And I'll bring the padding up a little bit. Cool. I can also add like an animation onto this, like maybe like a hover effect, so I can go through and select maybe grow rotate, so it looks like that when they hover the mouse on the button. And for the button as well, what you want to do is obviously select a action. So if they click on it, we've got different types of actions, so you can scroll to a section, open a URL, open a pop-up, different types of things like that. So I'm going to go to open URL and type in url.com. Okay, so you can have your specified URL for that. Cool. Okay, cool. So moving on, we're nearly done. What I'm going to do is create this type of kind of effect. So what we could do, I'm just going to copy this text here, like so. And what we can do is create a new section. And for this one, we've got 3 columns over here, and then we've got 2 columns like that. So I can go and select 3 like this, click on new row, and then select more options and go with something like that. So it has that kind of cool effect. We've got two kind of different types of layouts, okay? Cool, so what I'm gonna do to create that box is click on headline, drag the headline down here, double click on it, and then just paste that text that I copied. Go to my options, I'm gonna make this text Montserrat, like that. And it looks quite good. And I also wanna add a button on there as well. But before I add the button, I'm gonna add in a background to this. So what we need to do again is go to my column settings. So I go to my, first of all, click on this, go to style options. With my elements selected, I go to my column, and then I go to my background, and I can go through and select a background color, okay? Something like that, or maybe a little bit lighter than that. So maybe something like this. And maybe I wanna adjust my padding a little bit as well on the top. Maybe bring it down like that to 12, maybe 12 at the bottom, or yeah, something like that looks good. And I want to adjust this text color as well, make it white, like so. And one other thing as well, you might just be able to quickly notice is that we've got a kind of a faded kind of image in the background of this as well. You can see it a bit better on this navy one here, okay? So to do that, what we could do is click on my settings for my text, go to my background. You can see I've added in the background. Oh, actually, sorry, over here. Oh, whoops, I need to make a quick adjustment to this. So first of all, what you want to do is actually, instead of adding the background to your column, what you want to do is add a background to your element. So you select the element here, go to your background for your on the container settings, and then select your color. So maybe something like this again. Looks quite good. And if we want to add that kind of faded image effect as well, we can go to my image like this instead. We've got my image color over here. And I can go to my upload image, and what you want to do is select a transparent type image. This one's got, it's an image basically, and it's kind of transparent so that it's kind of see-through as well. So I've created the image in Photoshop, and then what I want to do is go to my padding, like this, just drag that down maybe to 20, also to 20 over here. And that's quite good. And then what I want to do is create a new button, so just drag and drop the button over here. And I'm going to select something like this. Something like that, it's quite good. And for this one, I'm going to go to my background settings as well. Oh, whoops, sorry, I need to go to my container settings for this, and then create a color, okay? Something like that. Just kind of play around with the colors. Something like that, it's quite good. And then I can say, discover. And I'll drag this out, I'll make the text font again, Montserrat. And I'll make the text size a little bit smaller, and I'll add the padding a little bit more like that, and I'll bring this down a little bit like that, and also adjust this color so you can have a different type of color you want. So that's how you can go through and create those kind of sections. And what you can do is just obviously duplicate this, add it over here, duplicate that as well, and then you can go through and adjust the colors and the text for each of these kind of blocks. This one, we need to add a bit of padding to the top of that, so bring it down like so. And as I said, as I showed you before, on this kind of, when we created this, we need to create some padding between these two columns. So what I could do is go to my style, go to my column, go to my padding, and then select something like 5, like that. And then I can add 5 also into this one as well. So go to my element, column, padding, and then go to 5, like that, okay? So what we can do is just obviously go ahead and duplicate that. You can adjust the colors for this background. I'm not going to go through all of them because it might take a little bit too long, but you can see you can add like different kind of background colors, adjust it how you like, and you can create them like so. You can also add one, you know, down for this kind of layout down the bottom. You know, maybe adjust the text a little bit, maybe a little bit wider like so. You know, add another section at the bottom. Whoops, just duplicate that. Like so, you know, kind of play around with that as well to get this type of effect, okay? Cool, so let's move on to this section. We're gonna show you how to create this video pop-up. What we need to do is create a new section. So I'm gonna create this new section over here, click on my column. I'm gonna make this padding quite big, so I'm gonna make it something like 200, like so. For my background type, I'm gonna make a color something like that, and then I'm gonna bring it down, the transparency, so you can see the video underneath. And then what I'm going to do is add an image. So I'm going to drag and drop this image, and I've got an image of a play button like that. I'll just make the size a little bit smaller, something like that. And then what I'm going to do is add a headline, so just say watch this video. Watch our video, for example. Okay. I'll make this text color white and also make it Montserrat. And make the text quite small like that. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger, so it's maybe something like 240, this space. And now what we need to do is create that video pop-up. So when someone clicks on this like this, it kind of hovers, when they hover on it like that, it has a nice hover effect. When they click on it, we've got the video playing. So what we need to do is go back over here. For this one, I'm gonna go to my animations, over right here, and go to mouse hover effect. I'm gonna set grow, so it looks like that. And then also what I want to do for this one, for the setting options, go to my action, go to action, open YouTube pop-up, and then just paste my YouTube URL down like that, okay? So if I click on save right now, just add a new section as well down there, click on save, go to preview. You guys see I got my nice kind of effect on there. I need to add an animation onto this one. But when I go over here, if I click on play, it opens up that video, which is a really cool kind of effect, okay? Cool. Cool, so what we can do is obviously go through and continue, you know, creating this page. We're just simply adding some text down here. And I want to quickly show you this, how you can create basically a vertical navigation like that, okay? So what I'm going to do for the sake of time is just delete that one and actually create a new row. Maybe make it, whoops, let's go back over here, make it 3-column layout, like that. And I'm going to duplicate this navigation menu. So I'm going to click on duplicate, and then what I'm going to do is drag, whoops, just click on drag this one down, like so. And now I'm going to click on the style options, and over on the right hand panel you see it says horizontal or vertical. If I click vertical, you can see it creates that vertical type menu, and I can select where I want it to, whoops, let's make it left like that, and then make it to the left, okay? And yeah, you can duplicate this like so. You can also adjust the height like this between the spacing between each of the text for the navigation. And then obviously you can go through, add your social buttons. If I quickly create one more down the bottom, maybe something like that. I could have my image, so I'm just going to duplicate this one, drag it down, and I'll make this align from the left, from the left. Maybe I'll add a little bit of padding onto it so it's kind of more aligned with that navigation. And then add my social buttons, just drag and drop that down like there. I can go to my presets and let's say this one here. Make it like that and align from the left. A little bit smaller. And maybe add a nice kind of hover animation to this one. And click on save. And there we go, we've got a similar type of page that I created with iGloo. You can see right now. You probably want to add like a nice kind of animation hover effect on there. We've got our video pop up. I've got my nice kind of social buttons down the bottom. I've got my navigation menus. You can obviously adjust the text for all of those, and you know, create really nice looking pages. And this is kind of modeled off the Prezi page that I showed you at the beginning. So yeah, go ahead and, you know, get started, try and create some of these kind of effects that I've created. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this first reimagined video.